Alright you guys, welcome back. I'm Craziness of the Internet here, and we are back again with another informational video here in Path of Exile 2. Now I did just want to go over with you guys a little bit about the base damage and capabilities that the ice spells can do for you and your character, and how you can use it to manipulate and control most of the bosses, as control magic in Path of Exile is one of the most powerful things in the game. Most players always do want to chase hit points and damage, and you do see a lot of videos right now currently and a lot of things and a lot of builds where they do one-shot bosses. Now do note to yourself, you guys, that Path of Exile 2 is not like Path of Exile 1, and GGG Games is not going down this route, especially noted by the developers themselves. Now currently in early access, we all are the testers of the game, and most of the things that we can do that are currently broken will be patched as when the game does fully release. You guys may not know that during the LA event, a lot of discussions were had, and during the early access many things were changed, and it was sped up a little bit, and it was reduced in what we would call the difficulty of the game, because as a core design of the game, you guys, they do want it to be the fast capabilities and movements and agility style of a League of Legends style of a champion, combined with that of what we would call Black Desert Online MMO style overhead action RPG. So basically the developers are taking the old and merging it with the new, which is what we as gamers always wanted. So once you do understand that, and you do understand that with the Sorceress, when it does come to the three types of damage, that you do note to yourself that fire is the highest base damage output that you will get out of all of the magic, and it is damage over time as well. When it does come to the lightning magic, this is the fastest casting magic, and it will rely on stunning and critting your enemies to the ground. And lastly, what you need to understand about the ice magic is that it is neutral on the battlefield, meaning that it doesn't really do high amounts of DPS, but you can manipulate that to your momentum, as you guys can see on the left of the screen here. Now a major thing that I want you guys to note here is that in Path of Exile 1 you could not really abuse ice to its full core mechanics, and they did not have very many high damaging spells like Comet and other combo abilities that are given here in Path of Exile 2. So because of that, ice almost became useless, and it was only a thing used on the mobs, never really the bosses. But here in Path of Exile 2, they have granted the ability to be able to use ice all around, and allowing us to be able to have a stun build up against many of the bosses that I'm sure many of you have also done yourselves. So another major core mechanic that you have to note to yourself that has been added to the game is the shield, where you can raise it up and block incoming spell damage and projectiles using nothing but ice spells itself. You do start to learn that the ice wall is exactly like the shield, just magic based, but you can also abuse it to detonate it and create huge mass explosions of DPS over time, while deflecting most of the enemy projectiles and controlling the bosses with your chill effect and slowing them down while dropping the walls. Once you guys do understand all of this, you can see here that I have stripped the character, and all it does have is a +3 to all spell abilities at level 60 here, so you guys can get a good idea at a mid-range of what its abilities can be and stack to if you did add some pretty powerful items. So I'll give you guys a quick rundown of how the combination works. What you must do is you first must drop your frost bombs. It allows you to drop 2 of them, which is instantly 6,000 damage, but when they do pulsate, they do lower the resistances of your enemies, allowing you to fire off an ice nova, chilling them or possibly freezing most of them, which then allows you to cast your fast cold snap, which itself does 13,287 damage, as you guys can see right there on the left. Also noting to yourself that you do always drop your ice walls down here, and they do fast cast at about 1 wall per every 2 seconds. So when you do detonate them, they each do fire about 1,000 damage, and you can drop 3 of them at a time. So it does get pretty wonky on the DPS output when you are using a control style based spell caster. If you guys do want me to make a full guide on this style of a build and this style of a champion, i.e. /demigod, that is almost impossible to kill as it does recuperate itself over time, just go ahead and leave a comment down below. And also let me know what your guys' favorite champions are and what builds you have been running as well. We do have a small amount of bosses that GGG has released to us in the early access. Remember you guys that they did stay state that there is 101 bosses on full release. Each one of these bosses truly is unique in its core design and mechanics, and some of them are slower and faster than the rest. So here right now I'm going to showcase to you guys what it is like to take on one of the faster style champions and to fully control them with the ice magic. In a build like this, it is not about one-shotting the bosses, it is about controlling the boss's mechanics and using them currently against them. But do note to yourself that in each boss there is a few mechanics that you can't do anything about, and all you get to do is move around or roll and dodge. So with that, let's get into showing you guys at a high base level how you too can control most of the enemy bosses. Now I'm going to showcase to you some of the high level mechanics and control that you can do with the ice spells when you choose to go down this route as your main spells as well. So here you can see I am controlling her with the ice wall, which is giving me time to fast cast and chill her, slowing her down with my comet. Don't forget, you guys, that when you do use the comet, you do get a flicker step, which you can manipulate and control boss attacks as well. So you are going to see that when she does activate this circular abilities here, I am going to utilize that to my advantage, and I am going to flicker step as I cast, which is even more control added to my arsenal. Once you learn and understand that Path of Exile 2 is about staying calm and relaxed when you do face any of the boss style mechanics. Now do note to yourselves here, you guys, that being able to constantly slow the enemy down and being able to non-stop block all of their projectiles, leaving everything in the hands of your own ability to dodge, showcases the actual power of the ice control itself, not just the damage output, but the ability to shut down most of these bosses completely. And by timing our control magic to the perfect moment when it is needed, you can see that we have again locked her down completely. Now you start seeing that over time the bosses can't really do much to you when you do fully suppress and control their mechanics, and that the only way they can get you is truly in their animated form, where there is nothing that you can do in the end but dodge. Once you do start understanding how powerful the control magic in its ice-based form truly is, you can see no matter what they do, even with their heaviest shots, they are still just deflected. And do note to yourselves, like stated earlier, that the combination that you want to always try to pull off is that you do want to drop the bombs, which will reduce the resistance, increasing the damage output. At the same time, you drop the walls, and you use your Nova to chill through the walls, increasing the damage, which will also chill the enemy, slowing them down. Over time, the walls will detonate, increasing the damage output, and every single time that they go into a full freeze, you use your Cold Snap, shattering it all. And finally, the last tip that I am going to leave you guys with here is when you do roll, whether you are hit or not, by doing the rolling animation, it does reduce some of the damage you do take. And you can also combine this tactic with your health pots, making it so that when they do damage you, they do have to burst through that as well. I hope you guys did find this video informational, and if you guys did make it all the way to the end, please do like and subscribe, as it doesn't cost you a thing and does help me out a lot in the end. And as always, I hope you're all staying safe out there. God bless, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.